at the 100th Farm Show, and I'm here with Secretary Redding, and we're here to celebrate this wonderful event. And I know I've been looking forward to it, even though I don't like getting older. I love the fact that I'm finally here at the 100th Farm Show. So I know you know a lot of the history, which I was kind of surprised that, well, this building wasn't here initially, and they had the farm show at a lot of different buildings throughout Harrisburg. So tell me about the history of this farm show.
You know, it's interesting. Everybody thinks that this was the original sort of complex. This is a Depression-era building. So that's a 1930, early 30s when this complex was built initially. Before that, I mean, you went downtown Harrisburg. You took the train into Harrisburg, you drove in, and then you got a map. And you went to 10 different buildings, I mean, over the course of the early years to find the exhibits, the family living, and it didn't add any livestock for about 10 years in the first 10 years, but everything else was found in different buildings, so it's a great piece. And of course, over time, we've grown this complex to 23 acres, all under roof, used 250 different shows throughout the year, so it's Farm Show as our biggest show that starts the year. But just think about the significance of this complex here in the Harrisburg region, capital region.
I know you use it for other events too. I mean, I think I've heard that people actually get married upstairs in the banquet hall.
We've had weddings here. We've had, graduation parties. You name it.
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
What I like about this farm show is educational. I mean, I've always been interested in agriculture and being on a farm, but to come here and just every time I come here, I pick up something. Mm-hmm. And we were just at an event that talked about PA Preferred and homegrown by heroes, we're talking about veterans.
Yep.
Tell me about that, like the PA Preferred first, and then how did we come up with that homegrown by heroes?
Yeah, so the Pennsylvania Preferred is our registered trademark for Pennsylvania product in Pennsylvania. So it's the keystone, and it has that sort of check mark that consumers look for. That tells you that it's Pennsylvania produced or processed here in the state. So it's important so consumers know, what am I buying? Am I buying and supporting Pennsylvania farms and Pennsylvania agribusinesses? It's also important for the farmer and the agribusiness to know in the marketplace, very confusing marketplace. You know, we shop, we see things all the time, and what is actually produced in Pennsylvania. So the assurance you have with any product with that on, it's Pennsylvania. So we began to think about, in a completely different context, the workforce that we were looking for agriculture. One of those areas, having come out of Delaware Valley University, was the veterans program. And how many veterans returning to higher education to get some type of certificate or degree were interested in agriculture, and we put those things together at the university. When I came here, we looked at it and said, we really ought to have a way to recognize those veterans in the marketplace, and then we identified that there's a national program called Homegrown by Heroes. So we put them together. When you look at our label, it's Pennsylvania Preferred, so it's Pennsylvania, and the Homegrown by Heroes is a veteran. So you put those together for Pennsylvania. It's a great, great addition for the market.
And how are we teaching our young people about agriculture and farms, like to convince them to get into farming?
So we're fortunate in Pennsylvania to have 151 ag science programs in Pennsylvania. But we know we've got 501 school districts, so there's a lot of students who never get exposed to food and agriculture. So we've taken on a task in the department of really looking at how do you engage sort of middle school, high school year students in a career in agriculture. If they're not exposed to it, how do they know about it,
exactly.
Right? And that's part of our challenge, and there's not a simple answer to that, but we're working with the Department of Education. We're looking at the educational standards for agriculture. There's really a couple of nice pilot programs around the state that have worked well. One of those is IU13, which is a Lebanon, Lancaster area, and they use agriculture to teach science. So every student, things like that, we think we can harness for the benefit of talking about agriculture, and maybe spark some interest. Maybe the farm show sparks interest, right? That's what
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does, and I'm glad you said Lebanon, because in the redistricting I picked up a little bit of Lebanon County.
Yeah.
So that's always interesting. But I also, there's so many of these restaurants, farm to table. How do you think that, they're becoming everywhere now, and people, I love to go to them, like how do you think that started to happen?
I think it is one of the great developments of our time. I mean, there's rediscovery of agriculture, not just in terms of its economic benefit and jobs, but being able to know who is actually feeding you, right? Go meet the person. Who's the neighbor? Who's feeding them? And that whole farm to table concept, this is a farm to shelf exhibit at Farm Show, that's sort of on a different scale, but same idea, moving from food production through a process to the shelf. The farm to table has been a great development. You see them. It's part agritainment, it's part tourism, it's all good food. So I hope that continues. We want to be, as a department, very, very supportive of that.
I hope it does too, because I love to go to those restaurants.
Yeah.
But tell me, you must have a favorite farm show story. So what is it?
Well, I'll tell you, over time, the one thing that I've come to appreciate is I was an exhibitor here at the farm show back in my teen years. But the one thing that really brought it home for me was when my kids were exhibitors within the family living area, right? So they made some crafts and woodworking projects as 4-H members and rocketry and baked goods. And my wife and I have talked about this, how proud we were. We were both sort of in the farm show, but when your kids do it and see them get excited, it sort of makes that point about the investment that we've made both as parents, but also as a Commonwealth in the farm show. It's a great
So everyone
moment.
should bring their kids, even though sometimes there's lines here. It's totally worthwhile to come here and stand through those lines, because other than the food court, I don't think there's a lot of lines. But talking about the food court, I know this year we have a new milkshake.
The new milkshake. So the Dairymen Association, when they were thinking about the 2016 farm show and something new, it's important to put this in context. The Dairymen Association haven't added a new milkshake in 60 years. So big deal, right? They began to think about, well, how do we sort of commemorate the 100th anniversary of the farm show, and tossed around some ideas. And out of that, of course, they had a contest to choose the shake. Ended up with a strawberry cream, which is all that it was meant to be, right? It's a beautiful addition to the chocolate vanilla.
I've heard a lot about it. So far I've just done my chocolate vanilla because that's my favorite. Before I leave today though, I'm going to go get my strawberries and cream.
Yeah, give it a try. It's actually very good.
Well,
yeah.
I had a wonderful week here, and I just appreciate
great.
everything you're doing for us, and keep up the good work, and we'll be back next year.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
We're here at the 100th Pennsylvania Farm Show, and I'm with Emily Bumgardner, who just received a scholarship. Emily, tell me about this scholarship and how you got it.
The scholarship is basically what you have to do is you have to put in some volunteer time. You have to be an exhibitor here at the farm show. For me, I've been showing here at the farm show for 10 years now. I show beef, cattle, and pigs, as well as I would help volunteer a couple of times. I had to help volunteer at the buyer's table with lunches. I'd help give out ribbons at beef shows. So that all kind of goes into getting the scholarship, and it's just been a great experience. I'm completely blessed that that got to happen this year, so it's been fantastic.
And did you have to make a written application for it?
Yeah, we had to answer a couple questions, basically about our volunteer experience, things that we learned throughout our experiences here at the farm show. That was kind of a couple of the questions that we had to answer.
And you're in college, I believe?
Yes, I
Penn
am.
State? Go
Yep.
Penn State?
Yep, that's right.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your courses.
Okay, well, right now I am majoring in communications. I'm going to be on my second semester starting tomorrow, but everything has been going great. I love the college life. Basically, right now I'm taking gen eds, but those introductory communication classes have been so much fun. I've been learning a lot, so hopefully I can take that into my future and get a successful job somewhere in communications. I'm not really picky on what I want to do, but anything in that job area would be perfect.
And tell me something about the Lebanon County Fair. I think you participated in that also.
Yes, I've shown as well cattle and pigs there as well. I was actually the 2013 alternate fair queen and the 2014 Lebanon area fair queen. So I've had the privilege to represent that fair, just going around and meeting new people, making connections. It's been a great year. Lebanon area fair is the best fair around. I will definitely say that. It's been a pleasure to represent the fair for 2 years now. So definitely love the Lebanon area fair.
Well, I like it too. With my due district, I picked up Lebanon County, part of it, and so it's good we have a fair there.
Yeah.
So it's really great to be with you. I also know you're involved with your church. Tell me about that. I believe you do some acting at your church with the group.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I go to Midway Church of the Brethren there in Lebanon. I've been actually attending there for 4 years and absolutely love the church there. I'm involved in 2 praise teams. I help sing, I play piano. I'm also very active in the youth groups that they have there. It's a wonderful church. Definitely met a lot of new people there when we started attending who are my really great friends right now. So It's pretty good.
And what's your favorite thing here at the 100th Farm Show?
Oh, that is a great question. You know, I would have to say I love the milkshakes, I love the food, but I think the best part about the 100th Farm Show is just the people that I meet, the connections that I make, and the memories that I make with them. So.
Well, that sounds really good.
Yep.
Now, just so somebody watching, like some young person wants to follow after your steps and get this scholarship, what should they do first?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, coming to the farm show is a great start, but definitely getting involved. The one key thing about this scholarship that they look at is the volunteer and the experience that you had with that. So just whether it's the way that I look at just volunteering is it's a way of giving back to our community. We come here, we show animals, and the prize money we make, that is such a blessing that the people at the farm show do for us, and just volunteering is a way of giving back. So that is the one big key thing that I think that if somebody who wants to be in this step where they get the scholarship is that they find those little jobs that need to be done to make the farm show successful as it is today.
Emily, I think you have a great future ahead of you, and thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Yep.
It's wonderful. We're at the 100th Farm Show, and I am here with Raymond Collard. He's from Dauphin, one of my constituents, and he's in the Homegrown by Heroes little presentation here today, and I don't know that much about it, so I'm going to ask him because I'm really anxious to hear about it because anything our veterans do is extremely important to me. So just tell me about this program, like how you got involved with it.
Well, I originally got involved with the Homegrown by Heroes through the Pennsylvania Preferred Program. I signed up for the Pennsylvania Preferred Program because our fiber is grown in Dauphin, and we buy all of our products, our hay and feed in Pennsylvania, and I wanted to keep everything Pennsylvania. And through the Pennsylvania Preferred Program, I heard they had another program called Homegrown by Heroes. And I applied for the program, a simple application online. I had to provide some proof that I had served in the military. And then I was accepted into the program, and I can now take the little Homegrown by Heroes logo and place it on my products.
And what are some of your products? Like when I know you grow certain things, but what are your products?
Well, right now we are focusing on the fiber aspect of the alpaca animals. We have alpacas. We shear the animals once a year, and from the raw fiber we get from the animal, we take it over the mountain to Fishing Creek, and we take it over to friends of ours called the Shaw family, Blue Mountain Farm and Fiber Mills, and they process our fiber into whatever we want it processed into. We did a lot of yarn this past year and some core spun yarn. And then from the yarn, we can either sell the yarn as raw skeins, or we can take the product and have it. I have a little knitting machine. I make hats out of it. So we have some value added at that aspect. And then we sell the products, and hopefully that pays for the hay.
And that's very interesting because just yesterday we talked to Ashley Tyler and Madison Shaw, and now you work with them. So that's really, it's amazing the connections here that we make.
Yes, we buy our hay locally. We raise our animals locally. We have our fiber processed locally, and hopefully we can sell the products locally.
Tell me something. I usually buy alpaca socks here because they are so warm. Every year I usually buy a pair of them. Do you sell them?
We don't have socks right now. In order for me to get socks, I would have to take my fiber and place it into a pool. And I can't be certain that the fiber I get back is my own fiber. So I'm not, until I get to the point where I can actually process and produce my own socks, I really don't want to sell socks from other people's alpacas.
All right. Well, I know that you got into this program because of Pennsylvania Preferred. What can you tell us about Pennsylvania Preferred? Because we love that label.
Well, that's primarily why we got into it. It was we wanted to display the label on our products, and we found out that in order to do so, a percentage, I'm not sure, I believe it's at least 80% of your product has to be grown in Pennsylvania. And in our case, 100% of our product is grown in Pennsylvania.
Very interesting. See how informative this farm show is? That's why I love coming here, because every year I learn more, and it's so wonderful. So always remember to come to this farm show, and it's this 100th, next year's 101, so if it's not on your schedule, put it on for next year already. And thank you so much. We appreciate you being a veteran and everything you do in this program.
Well, thank you. And buy Pennsylvania.
Buy Pennsylvania. What a good thing to say. Thank you. we're with Linda Stakem Smith, and she is the grandmother of the 3 kids I just interviewed, the Shaw children. So anyway, tell me your part in this, because I know their grandmother's extremely important to them. They always light up when they talk about you. So tell me what you do.
What I do is pinch hit at this point because I retired, but we started with the yarn shop, which Angie helped me to get. I wouldn't have had it without her. And when I didn't want it anymore, she says to me, Mom, I want a fiber mill. And hence all the children who do the spinning, the weaving, the sheep to shawl, the fleece to shawl, the farming, which is what Tyler does. So we've just been overseeing it, and as a family affair, we're all invested in the endeavors together.
And then this booth is called Blue Mountain Farms and Fiber Mill, which is the mill that Angie asked you to help her start, correct?
Correct. Because we had the yarn shop, and when I wanted her to get rid of the yarn shop, she said, Mom, I need it for a retail outlet for my mill. I said, what? She said, will you help me get a mill, Mom? I want a mill. Because of all the animals on their farm, all the fleeces that we're accumulating, the wool from the Angora rabbits, and of course the Angora goats. And hence, so here we are, a year and 4 months into the fiber mill, and we had to build 2 buildings, refurbish a 3rd to make it happen, but we made it happen together as a family.
Well, that's great. And just this booth, I decide I want to knit, I would come here. What would you direct me to first? What should I start at?
I think you should start at a scarf. For example, this is something simple. It's straight knitting. We would teach people just straight knitting, usually on larger needles, so that you get some instant gratification and you can pick any yarn you want. Normally, people would say that you just pick something quick and easy or cheap, and I don't find that in 60 years of knitting to be true. Find something that tickles the person's fancy because they're going to be excited about it. They're going to like it. And then we teach you to knit. But a scarf is the ticket.
And it is fun. Like many years ago, I used to knit a lot of things, but that's not part of my life right now. I just don't have time for it. And I often wondered in the future, if I go back to it, if I'm going to remember what I did. Because I did some pretty neat things that people look at and say, did you do that? And it was easy then, but hopefully I remember. So this is great. I'm glad that you actually have this booth here so you can educate people and they can actually start to knit. So
and I'm sure if you ever pick it up again, I tell people it's like getting back on a bicycle. If you knit before, you'll knit again, because knitting is only about 2 stitches, knitting and purling. And truly, Sue, it's like getting back on a bike. You'll do it.
I'll try it. Thank you very much.
You're
we
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Madison Shaw once again. And Madison, tell me, I know this morning was the Fleece to Shawl contest. I know you competed in that. But tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you? Where do you go to school? And then we'll talk about what you did this morning.
Okay. Well, I am currently 14, and I am a homeschooled student. So I am in 9th grade, and I am preparing for college and that kind of stuff, which I'm a little bit young, but it's always good to be prepared. And I want to become a vet when I'm older, so I'm hoping to start college my senior year of high school.
So tell me about the Fleece to Shawl contest this morning.
Sure. Well, the fleece to shawl, the whole thing is you're taking a fleece from a sheep and you're processing it by carding it, and then it's handed off to 3 spinners, which will spin it, and my team plies it. So that means that they take the 2 strands of yarn and they ply them together, and then they make a stronger, more durable yarn, and then that's handed off to me, and I'm the weaver, and I weave the shawl for the competition.
Now, how did you learn to do all this?
Well, my sister started with the whole fiber aspect, and she was really interested with it since she bought a giant Angora rabbit. So she learned about the fleeces and that kind of stuff, and then we joined 4-H. And 4-H encouraged me to start as well. So we joined a 4-H club, which is a fiber club, and we started from there. And I learned how to spin and knit when I was about 7. And then I slowly graduated to weaving.
Now, I know you live in Middle Paxton Township, but you do have a Harrisburg address. And I know a lot of people think if you live in Harrisburg, like the kids aren't members of 4-H, but you just talked about that. Tell me, where is your 4-H group? Where do you meet? And how could, one of these Harrisburg kids that really would love to do something like this get in 4-H?
Well, the fiber club that I'm in, we actually meet at my own house. And the rabbit club that I'm in, we meet here at the farm show. And a friend of mine is in charge of the friendship club that I'm a part of, and we go to her house. And it's always really interesting because we're always trying to encourage a lot of people to join 4-H. So here at the farm show is a really great opportunity. So we're always doing demonstrations and trying to encourage people to join. And especially the fleece to shawl and the sheep to shawl, that encourages other people just because they see how much fun you're having and they see the great crowd that there is, and it's just really fun.
And it is so much fun. I mean, this is the big day here at the farm show. And you won some sort of prize through this contest. What prize did you win this morning?
Well, my team actually placed 6th out of 6, but I actually won the Weavers Award on our team, and the Spinners on my team won the Spinners Award.
Well, that's terrific. And what else do you do? I mean, I met your grandmother one day in the grocery store, and she's so proud of you because of the different things that you do. So what are some of your other interests?
Well, I like to, of course, hang out with my friends, and I really enjoy working with my animals. And one thing that I'm really looking forward to is I just got a puppy for Christmas, and I'm going to actually get her in February. So I'm actually going to train her how to do agility. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Did you pick out a name yet?
Her name is going to be Iris.
Oh, Iris. Well, thank you very much, Madison. It's so wonderful to see you every year and talk to you, and keep on doing the wonderful work you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
We just talked to Madison Shaw, and now we're going to talk to Tyler Shaw, Madison's brother. Hi, Tyler.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing just great at this wonderful 100th farm show. Now we're just about ready to start with the sheep to shawl contest, and I know you have a really special part in that contest. Tell us all what you do for this contest.
Well, you're right. I do play a pretty important key role in the whole contest. I'm actually the shearer, which makes it the sheep to shawl. I will be shearing the fleece off of the sheep that we've been raising and keeping clean for the last almost year since last year's farm show, and I'll be shearing it, and then after I'm done, they can take it and make it into a shawl.
Well, that's interesting. You said you had the same sheep last year, so once you get it home, you keep growing it till next year. So do you only do the shearing one time a year for any sheep?
Well, it depends on your breed, but the breed that we raise on our farm are Leicester Longwools. And because they're a long wool breed, we only shear once a year. Some breeds, they'll shear multiple times a year, 2 or 3 times, but our sheep, we only shear once a year. And the sheep we're using today was actually shorn last year at Farm Show.
Now, how many sheep do you have at home on your farm?
We currently have about 15 sheep on our farm right now. So we keep a smaller flock. Some people keep a larger flock, but we like to keep a smaller flock, just more manageable and with the acreage that we have on our farm.
We're going to be watching this contest shortly, and the people at home will be able to see it too. But tell me, what else do you do? Like, are you in college, or what's your life?
Well, I'm a farmer, and I have gone to college, and this past fall I went to the Hack Auctioneering School, but now I'm going to be farming full-time, and I currently farm about 125 acres, but I'm looking to expand that whole operation, and those are really my career goals for my future, and it's pretty exciting, and I look forward to the next couple growing seasons to see where I can go from here.
Wow, so 125 acres. I didn't know you did that.
Yep.
I know I saw you several years back with some plants or something here at the farm show. I think it was a Penn State booth. Like, what were you doing there?
Well, I'm also a Dauphin County Master Gardener, and I love to garden, and I don't stray far from those roots that kind of started the whole farming and agriculture operation for me. But at that particular year, I was doing a demonstration on small-scale backyard gardens, because a lot of people have a big enough room to put a small garden in, but they want to grow multiple crops. And in a small raised bed garden, you can really increase your yields if you do multiple plantings in the same area. And they're like the three sister crops, they'll benefit from each other. Like the squash will spread out and cover the ground and protect the ground. The beans will grow up a corn stalks. So you'll have three crops in one area and maximize your potential from that ground, and it'll also limit your labor costs.
We're proud of you, and thanks for being here. We're going to watch you in the competition, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to it.
And now we're with Ashley Shaw, just about ready to get started with this Sheep to Shawl contest, and her team is called Just a Little Twisted. Ashley, tell me what you're going to be doing here today.
Today we are doing the Sheep to Shawl event, so we have our sheep here. She's a Leicester Longwool ewe named Harley, and my brother is going to be shearing her wool off of her, and from there we'll be taking her fiber, and Matt Bishop's going to be carding her fiber to align it better for the spinners. And we have 3 spinners, my mom, a friend of ours named Deb Winslow, and Deb Bishop, and they're going to be spinning it for me. And then they'll hand it off to me, and I will use the yarn that they just spun to weave it into a shawl. This year, since it's the 100th year of the Pennsylvania Farm Show, we have a theme. It's called Should Have Seen It in Color, and it just kind of talks about the history of the farm show. So it has grays and whites in the shawl, and then it fades out into blues, since this year's theme is the Blue Ribbon Experience.
I know your shawls are always very colorful. I've always been impressed by the colors of them. Is there a time limit on this? How does that work?
We're going to start at 3 o'clock, and we have 2.5 hours to go from shearing the sheep to the completed shawl.
And then I believe at 6 o'clock we can come back and bid on your shawl.
Yep. 6 o'clock, all of the youth shawls that were completed earlier this morning in the fleece to shawl, along with all of the sheep to shawl shawls, will be auctioned off here at 6 o'clock tonight.
We're really looking forward to it. Now tell me, what else do you do? Are you in college, or where are you?
I actually graduated college from Delaware Valley University with a major in agribusiness, and since then my mom and I have become business partners, and we opened up a fiber processing mill. So we're working together running our own business where we process fibers for other people. They ship us their fibers, we'll process them for them, and then ship them back to them.
How do people actually, if they want to get to know you and what you do and use your fibers or whatever, use your wool, how do you do that?
Well, we have a website online, and we travel all around to different fiber events. We also have a booth here at the farm show this year where we are exhibiting a lot of our own fibers that we've processed ourselves in our mill. And we also have an online website. It's Blue Mountain Farms Fiber Mill. And anyone that raises animals and they want to be able to make a product from their animals or sell their products as like retail, or go to fiber festivals to sell their items, they can send us their raw fiber, and we process it for them, and then we'll send it back to them in the form that they requested.
Thank you for that, and we're definitely going to be watching you in the contest very shortly, and good luck and congratulations.
Thank you very much.